Hello and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. Previously on the Step 3 epilogue, we had an exciting I'm saying it intentionally bad, revelation that our trip plans are all confirmed and that Marina is able to go on the journey she wants to go. And they had a nice dinner at a Chinese restaurant. And that night, Marina snuck out of her room to visit Cove in his room and spend some quality time together. And now, an hour later, both your family and Coves were walking down the old path to the beach. The morning was already turning into a bright, beautiful day. You honestly couldn't ask for better weather for a beach trip. The moment you laid your eyes on the full view of the ocean, you stopped and stood there mesmerized. It didn't matter that you grew up there. The sight always filled you with wonder. As it should. Hey, Marina? I was thinking about calling Terry and Miranda, see if they can come too. Everyone else is pretty much already here, so would your family mind? Wow, you had a good idea. He chuckled, his mouth pulled into a bent smile. It had to happen sometime, even with Clifford's surprise Holden raising me. Wow. Referred to his dad by his full name there. That had you laughing this time. You were already eager for your friends to join you there. Hey, Mama. They both stopped what they were doing and turned toward you. Immediately you darted over to them. I have a question. Would it be alright if Terry and Miranda came by? Wow, all the moms on one screen. All the moms on one screen. I don't know if that's ever happened before. Also, it's weird that these two are in this order instead of the other way around, but I think it's the easiest way to display their sprites. I don't see why not. Ma looked to Mom to see what she thought. She nodded in agreement. Mom then shot a glance over at Mr. Holden and Kyra, knowing that they had likely heard everything. Cliff, Kyra, what do you two think? The more the merrier. Of course, they're welcome with me. Thanks. Delighted, you nodded and turned on your heels. Cove was still several feet away talking to Liz and Lee, likely about the same topic. I'm a little tired today, so my energy might not be up as much as it was in the previous couple videos. Stuff is probably going to get me there. I always get excited playing these. I'll see how we feel, see what we end up doing. With a beaming smile, you gave him a thumbs up, and the two of them must have also approved. Let's go. Cliff got his phone out and started making the calls. At that, you turned your attention to helping with the picnic setup. Unexpectedly, your phone started ringing. You dug it out, curious to see the caller ID. Feeling your heart jump in excitement, you answered the video call request. It was Derek. Oh. Oh no, because we're still friends with Derek, is he going to show up here too? Oh no. 18-year-old Derek? Oh no. Hey, this is a surprise. I thought you disappeared. Nope, I have not. And I hope it's at least a good surprise. Holy crap. It's 18-year-old Derek Suarez, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't expect this to happen. This is a good surprise. A very good one. He chuckled at that and your smile widened. So, what's up? The voice that came through was much deeper than it had been when you first met, but still had the exact same amount of enthusiasm of a kid. Have you been enjoying these crazy summer days? Yeah, I have. It's been amazing. There's been ups and downs. It's been memorable, to say the least. I would have enjoyed them more if you'd been here. Ooh. It's been amazing. That's awesome. You'll have to catch me up on that. But what about you? How's your summer been? You were beyond curious to know what Derek had been up to since the last time you spoke. He chuckled, noticing your invested tone. Honestly, I've just been slammed with stuff lately. College applications and scholarship inquiries. What else is new? I'm guessing he probably gets a full sports ride somewhere to a school. See, this is how I would expect a soccer player build to go if he was playing mostly soccer. What else is new? I bet you're even more toned now you flirted. What? Oh, your only real struggle will be choosing which place to go. They'll all be desperate to have you. I wish you nothing but good luck. Yeah, this one is probably your only real struggle. Yeah. Man, what? What? We can just still be into Derek, I guess. Totally. His chuckle turned into a sigh. You could hear his small smile when he spoke. I really hope so anyway. That would be amazing. Oh hey, I finally got the chance to say this. I met that boy again, the dancer from the Cypress Summer Soiree. Oh jeez! We can tell him about that. Huh? Wait, hold on. I need a second for my brain to catch up. That was fair. The human mind only had so much processing power, and their revelation was an overload. He waited patiently in semi-silence. Some muffled mumbles came over the speaker, as well as a scratchy interference that you expected was Derek actually scratching his ear near the phone. Alright, so I'm breaking this down. There was a time you took me to the country club when we were barely teenagers? Yes. And I asked you to show me around and we went on a walk? Yeah. And we ended up in a totally different party for a whole other group of people that we weren't supposed to be at? The confirmation process continued. Right. In that party, we talked to a kid around our age to ask what was going on, and he told us what I said before about it being a private occasion for people who were not us. It was for a dance circuit. You've got it. That's who you met? Correct as always. His name is Baxter. He rented the house right next to Cove's. No way. How did you remember him? He remembered me, and you too. He did? He verified reality for Derek for a final time. He did. He said your bow tie was cute. He said you were short. I have no idea how he recognized me. It was so weird. It's so amazing it happened. I could understand Derek's... I have no idea how he recognized me. Yeah. I'm not so sure about that. You're pretty memorable to me. Baxter the dancer, huh? Your summer was even more exciting than I would have guessed, and I had banked on it being decently wild. And yours was exactly as eventful as I thought it would be. Yeah, it always is. The distant tone of his voice made him feel even further away from you than he was. That wasn't what you'd wanted. You attempted to bring the topic back to something cheerier. What's going on with your family? Are Jorge and Nico being good? My little brothers are little punks, but I guess they're doing alright. Oh my goodness. You both laughed at that. Mom and Dad are fine. That's great, my moms are too. Turning your attention back to your surroundings, you smiled warmly at your family buzzing around. Towels were laid out and chairs and umbrellas were being set up. Actually, I'm out with my moms right now. Liz and Lee are here visiting too. Oh, that's fun, but if that's the deal, I'll let you get back to it. Are you sure? I don't mind. Uh-huh, I'm sure. I'm not about to lose your number. Phil, don't lose my number. Okay, bye. Bye, Marina. Have a heck of a day. And with that, Derek Suarez, ladies and gentlemen. Hanging up, that conversation left you energized and in good spirits. It was exactly what you needed to make this day even better. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of how I feel right now. You hurried over to your mom's and helped to put the rest of the food out. In moments, you noticed Cove at your side. So what's the verdict on those invitations? They're gonna come. Yes. Excited, you raised your free hand for a high five. Cove laughed and slapped your hand. They'll meet us here later today. Shouldn't be too long. I can't wait. Once the setup was done, everyone got comfortable and dug into the food. You couldn't remember the last time breakfast tasted this good, but you attributed it to the gorgeous ocean view and soothing sea breeze. Morning swiftly gave way to afternoon, and a very recognizable face came walking down to the shore. Baxter seemed momentarily surprised to see you all there. He pleasantly approached with a wave. Hello there. I didn't mean to intrude on the party. I was coming down to get some fresh air. Baxter goes for ocean walks. Oh, so sorry about that. I'm eating and my toast decided to be difficult. To be young and be Baxter and not have anywhere to be all summer. Oh, you didn't intrude on anything. You're welcome to join us. We brought plenty of towels and food and sunscreen. Yeah, you're one of the neighbors. Kick back and relax with us. Well, I can't possibly say no to that. Thank you. Baxter's gaze moved over to you and Cove. He smiled. Marina, Cove, good to see you. Hi. You waved from where you leisurely sat and Cove nodded. We meet again. Yes, lucky for me. A few giggles escaped Lee as she watched Baxter. It was then that Baxter noticed the face he didn't immediately recognize from around the neighborhood. It turned up his charm even more for the introduction. Excuse me, I'm Baxter Ward. I'm sorry we haven't met before. I'm not typically from around this area, just visiting. I'm Cove's mom. Oh, I'll remember that. It's very nice to meet you. After that, Baxter spent some time getting better acquainted with everyone, and Terry and Miranda arrived excitedly. The conversation shifted to what you would all do next. We could do a few rounds of volleyball. There's plenty of us now. Yeah. This is what I was excited about with this moment. It's going to be a little different than it was for my friend. Could I play? Of course. Miranda brightened, delighted with this plan. Ma looked around to see if there were any other takers. I don't feel like playing. I'd have to change, but it'd be fun to watch. I could be the ref. My eyes won't miss a thing. Surprised he doesn't want to play. I'm in. Excellent. We almost have enough for 2-on-2 teams. Volleyball's a good idea, but there should probably be something happening for those who aren't a fan. Ooh! I have some crafting supplies we could use to make jewelry. We could even use stuff we find around the beach to accentuate them. Really? I want to make a necklace. I'd be interested in trying my hand at that too. Impromptu crafting is my kind of party. I'd like to join too, please. I mean, which one of these two things is Marina going to pick? You looked at Ma, ready to jump into a competitive mode. She looked thrilled to have you on board. Now that the plans were settled, the group temporarily split into two. Alright, sports stars, you're gonna have to pick partners and that's game on. I mean, Mr. Holden left the rest of you to deliberate and turned his attention to drawing a makeshift court in the sand. Boy, I wonder who we're gonna team up with to beat Ma and Miranda. She walked over to you and hooked her arm around yours. You laughed. I want to be on Marina's team. Oh, we gotta be on team with Ma. Okay. We gotta go up against Mr. Holden. You paired up with Ma. Oh, you can choose to be on Cove's team. Nah. Alright, it'll be Ma and me. You wanted to have fun with your Ma. Cove put on his game face, not intending to go easy on you now that you are on opposite sides. Yeah, we're going against Cove. That makes more fun for her. She'd like that more. Cove then turned to Miranda. He looked determined. Ready to win? Wow. It's weird to me that she's so competitive about this. When Mr. Holden finished drawing the court, he went and fetched the volleyball from the various other supplies you all brought there. Sounds like we have our teams all set, right? Good. Now get to your sides. The four of you situated yourselves on one side of the court with your partner. Mr. Holden tossed the ball to Ma. Since this was all Nolani's idea, I think it's fair that she gets to serve first. Is it Noelani? Is that why you could pronounce it? You could abbreviate it Noel? Noel? Is it Noelani? I always thought it was Nolani. I don't know Hawaiian names. Thank you, Cliff. Woo, Ma, show him his oh my gosh, I have to, You never cease to surprise me. She is the most surprising character in this entire thing. Woo, Ma, show him who's boss. Go, Marina, make him eat sand. You kicked a small heap of sand out of your way on the simple court, making her laugh. You turned back towards Ma. Don't hold back. You're going down. Good luck, Ma. Be quiet, serious. You're going down. For emphasis, you even pointed at the others. Miranda teasingly stuck her tongue out at you. These are our friends. We can trash talk a little bit with Cove and Miranda. She takes after her Ma too, so she's gonna be all, be the being competitive thing here. I've been looking forward to this volleyball, if I'm honest. I like different scenes I've never seen before. With that, Ma got into position and delivered a practice first serve. The game began. In the battle over the volleyball, both teams scored points. There wasn't a set amount to reach to reach to end things, so it went back and forth for as long as everyone wanted to play. Okay. I want to say some things here, too. I meant to tell stories, because that's what we do here. This whole big party reminds me of when I was growing up. At the end of the summer, just about every year, my dad's baseball team would have this party. Basically, they would get together just to celebrate their season, and even, regardless of how they did and everything, it was just the that kind of thing, just just to celebrate. But they would have food spread. It was at this person's camp that was on this big lake, so it wasn't the ocean, but there was a beach, so you could swim. There was a bunch of food. They did volleyball, they did cornhole. I was never very athletic, so I don't know if I ever really did. I did the volleyball sometimes. I'm like, I akin myself to Miranda. Like, I don't see her as being super athletic, but energetic and wanting to do stuff and wanting to be part of things with people, and willing to be part of the group. So this whole moment, cozy, kind of ending the summer on something like this, makes me think of that. And playing the volleyball with them makes me think of that even more. So this is fun. This is pretty much how that used to go, and it was fun. It wasn't super competitive, and it was just kind of like this. And the game went on for quite a while as everyone got into it, especially with the cheers and added commentary. Liz and Mr. Holden made the whole game better with their humor and wit. From a distance, the jewelry-making group would also cheer when they heard shouts coming out of the court. On top of that, they would hold up each newly made piece in the air, and players would take a breather to applaud the creation. Yeah, they make some pretty cool stuff. It wasn't until all of you were exhausted from running, spiking, and diving that a truce was called. You enjoyed every moment of it. The afternoon continued to drift by, but the fun was still going strong. So I think, when you do the jewelry, you get to be more creative, obviously, because the whole idea of it is more creative. Occasionally, someone would head back to the houses to use the bathroom, rest away from the sun a while, or retrieve something that they needed, but they always came back. I always come back. The beach was never empty, and there was always a new conversation to take part in or another game to join. At one point, Mr. Holden even broke out his pack of cards. He roped the whole group into a few rounds of good old go fish. There was only one thing that could bring this beach day to an end, and that was for the day itself to end. Before anyone realized, the sun began to set over the sea. As that happened, you were taking a break, sitting on a towel with your legs stretched out past your feet, and your feet buried in the warm sand. You were reading a book. What? Really? We're just reading a book? I don't understand that. Why would we... If all this stuff is going on, why would she be reading? I really think she likes reading a lot. I'm not, any kind of... Marina's not any kind of, huge into reading. She just likes to read. Maybe it's the new book Cove got her. Shortly, you looked up to see your moms approaching. They stopped in front of you and smiled. Hey there, kiddo. I'm doing great. Today's been amazing. They both sat down, squishing you between them. Get ready for this. Ma leaned her head against yours, and Mom started rubbing your back soothingly. Nothing more was said at first, but Ma sighed contentedly. Mom looked at you wistfully. We're both really proud of you, Marina. Okay, this is a better with their eyes both open. You grew up to be more than we could ever have hoped. It's only thanks to you two. I'm not sure I deserve any of that glowing praise. I kind of want to say that, but she's not that. She's not feeling that right now. She's feeling the excitement. It's only thanks to you two. You wrapped an arm around your middle and squeezed... Ma wrapped an arm around your middle and squeezed you tightly in a side hug. Mom continued slightly scratching your back. That means a lot, but I still think you're selling yourself short. You've always been a lovely person, and I'm so thrilled to know you. Who says stuff like this to their kids, though? Do people say this stuff to their kids? That they're thrilled to know them? I guess. The idea that... Well, in their case, though, it's also that you're not biologically a part of their family, so maybe it's kind of like that. It's like they're... Yeah, like they wouldn't know you if you hadn't become part of their family. Your voice faltered, and you honestly couldn't imagine your life any other way. Ma lightly brushed some of your hair back and left a small kiss there. I'm so happy I got to have both of you as my moms. After that, all three of you were still sitting there getting all sentimental. I don't know how we got so lucky with you and Liz. Ma reached out in front of you for Mom's hand. She gave it to her, and Ma squeezed it. Marina has a point. We must have done something right. You stayed there quietly and contentedly, watching the sunset with your parents for a while. Until Mr. Holden called out to you. He was still walking in your direction. We were talking and think we're going to take a walk down the shore. And you want to come? Automatically, you looked to your moms for what they were thinking. Mom glanced from you to Ma and smiled. That sounds good to me. That'd be very nice. My legs need some stretching. I've walked a lot of beaches with my family in my time, and that's always really nice too. Just this, I don't know. We did a lot of summer trips to like shorelines and big lakes and stuff, and walked a lot of beaches together with my parents, and it was always nice. That's a yes across the board. The old Mr. Holden threw out a thumbs up and began heading back the way he came in a light jog. Hey, don't leave us in the dust. Cliff kept going forward but flipped around, walking backward across the sand so he could face you again. We wouldn't leave without you. Alright, we'll catch up. Ready to go? Uh-huh. Both of your moms held a hand out to you. Chuckling, you gave each of them one, and you all strolled back to the rest of the group. When Liz was in reach, Ma used her free hand to pull her into it, too. Liz shook her head, but her mouth quirked into a smile she didn't resist. Together as a family, you followed behind the others, hand in hand. Your feet squished into the wet sands, the waves rolled over them, and you didn't have a single care in the world as more and more stars began to dot the sky. Once the sun had been long out of sight, it was finally time to pack up. I don't think we would have these kind of... Actually, over the ocean, you'd probably be able to see them. Yeah. I've never been to the ocean at night. Also, that straight-up full moon here. This is beautiful. The closing of the day and the ever-approaching end of summer seemed to intertwine. It caused a quiet, reflective mood to blanket over the group. On the beach, Terry and Miranda took turns compressing Cove in a hug before moving on to do the same to you. You chuckled, still overjoyed that you got to see them today. I'm sorry we have to go already. My parents are here. That's okay. But I still wish I could help clear all this up. Don't worry about it. Just thanks for coming out today. It was cool having everyone here. Oh yeah, I'm super glad we came. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. Oh, you too. Nodding, you turned your attention to Terry. She wore a large grin on her face and held out a hand for a low five. You obliged. Take care of yourselves, buddies. After that, they walked away, waving to you and Cove as they went down the shore. Cove waved quietly back with a small smile on his face. You waved too. It was a big wave. You hoped Miranda was right and there would be another day like this soon. Taking you by surprise, Terry jumped and twisted around. She kept up with Miranda by walking backwards. She kept the mood of your farewell light by shooting finger guns at you and Cove. Miranda bumped her with a hip. It left everyone with a laugh just before they disappeared down the bend. Marina? Hey, Cove, could you come here? Both your parents were motioning for you. The two of you went to them. Tons of things ended up at the beach over the course of the day, so there was still so much to pack up, and the parents needed help. With a nod, you got to it, stuffing various things into bags and bundling them up in towels. Once things were ready to go, everyone filled their arms with as much as they could carry. Absolutely no one wanted this to be a back and forth kind of task. The walking back home ended up being mostly quiet. Each person seemed to be feeling the effects of a day. A cool breeze carried you across the sand and onto the road. Oh, Baxter. There was a sigh of relief from what felt like the group as a whole when they arrived back at the neighborhood. Baxter carefully placed what he had been carrying on the ground. Thank you so much for helping with that. No, thank you for allowing me to join today. You all shared with me. Helping to carry it back was the least I could do. Ma nodded and the others started collecting their things from the pile. Baxter, meanwhile, stepped over to you and Cove. It really was a pleasure getting to know you both this summer. His head tilted toward you and he smiled warmly. Baxter offered you his hand. You used your freer hand to shake his. You waved goodbye instead. You patted his shoulder. You side-hugged him. You raised your hand for a high five. Always. It was tough because of how much stuff you were carrying, but you were able to free one of your hands enough to raise it. Baxter chuckled while you gave him a pleading, don't leave me hanging look. He gently slapped your hand and your mouth pulled into a larger grin. I think we did end up as good friends. I really enjoyed meeting you. Good luck in your next semester at school. You didn't say anything. Huh. I really enjoyed meeting you? Maybe good luck on your next semester at school. No. I don't think she would think they ended up as good friends. I really enjoyed meeting you. I'm delighted to hear that. I enjoyed this vacation immensely thanks to you. Baxter turned to shake Cove's hand this time. He was a little incredulous for a moment, but then Cove eventually shifted to what he was carrying and took Baxter's hand. It wasn't long, but it was a solid handshake. Baxter was clearly pleased. I wish we had more time together, but it was still a nice ride while it lasted. Would happily do it all over again. Bye, Baxter. Yeah, bye. Baxter nodded and walked a few steps towards his condo. He then stopped and waved. Baxter sauntered away completely and disappeared inside the condo to return to his own things. His time with you and your family and friends ending. He paused for a moment, staring at where he went. But afterwards, you looked back over the rest of the group. Liz and Lee were just going inside your house. You couldn't spot Kyra or Mr. Holden anywhere, but the door of their house was wide open. Mom approached with an amused look on her face. Seems like you're holding up some Holden things. Surprised, you glanced down to take a quick inventory of what you were holding. Mom was right, some of it belonged to the neighbors. Would you mind dropping it off now? Looking down again at everything you were carrying, you sighed. A teasing grin played at your lips. The Holdens is a long walk from here. Cove snorted and laughed next to you, making your grin wide. Mom chuckled and shook her head. You can hack it. Then you'll get to experience the joy of a job well done. You laughed happily and nodded. Mom smiled fondly. Cove took a few steps toward his house and stopped waiting for you. Cove, I'll see you inside, Marina. Night. You caught up to Cove, and together you went over to his house. Walking in the front door, you saw Kyra and Mr. Holden busily unpacking already. Things were scattered in counters, and they were moving around each other, putting their items away. They both lifted their heads where Cove closed the door. Hey! It's nice seeing you again already, Marina. Her teasing tone brought a light smile to your face. You hefted the stuff in your arms a little closer. I ended up with things of yours from the beach. Thanks for getting that to us. You can put it, here, on that coffee table. Mr. Holden pointed at the surface he was referring to, and you immediately left what didn't belong to your family there. Huh. Cove put his own things down on the floor just at his feet, wading through everything, soon about to reach his parents. Putting your family's stuff on the ground for a moment, you dusted your fams off and straightened up. You needed a second of rest and a minute to situate it all. You went over where the others were, too. Kyra opened her arms wide, wanting to hug you. You accepted. Without any hesitation, you went to Kyra and let her pull you into a hug. You squeezed her back just as tight. Her hug was filled with affection, and you hoped that she could feel how much you cared about her, too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a blast. I didn't just hang out with you, Kyra. We were all there. You're welcome. Today was amazing. I haven't said too much about these characters the whole time. We're getting all these goodbyes for the day. And probably one of some of the last times Marina will see these people, really, when you think about it. Kyra eventually released you, but patted the tops of your shoulders as a final gesture. Every time I've gotten to come by, it's been an absolute joy. Things really couldn't have worked out better. Mr. Holden took a step closer to you. Kyra moved aside to let him say goodbye to you. He grinned. Thanks for always being such a friendly neighbor, and not just right now, but for as long as I've known you. I didn't always make it easy, but you and your family are good people. These are kind of their goodbyes to Marina before she leaves on her trip, right? I really truly appreciate it. Thanks again, Marina. So much. At that, Mr. Holden reached out and gave you a soft pat on the top of your head. I'm really glad you're my neighbor, too. You're good people, too. You hugged him. Goodbye, Mr. Holden. You hugged him. You burst forward into Mr. Holden and wrapped your arms around him. Surprised, he went rigid immediately. But several moments later, he relaxed and began to lightly pat your back before shifting into a full hug. You squeezed him tighter. Thanks for moving in. As you let go, he sniffled, but when he met your gaze once more, his mouth pulled into a wide, happy grin. Mr. Holden was staring at you, but his gaze seemed far away. Maybe he was looking back at who you used to be, the 8-year-old he'd asked to be his son's new friend. Bye, Marina. He smiled softly. Then Cove took a step forward. He gestured to his pile of things he carried into his house. I'll put that stuff away in a few minutes. Right, I need to go do the same with my family. I figured. Cove walked you to the door and held it open. Taking one last check around to make sure you had all your things to bring home, he went into the road. He leaned his body against the doorframe, not following you out. So this is it, huh? Actually, that's not what I mean. His expression twisted and he shook his head a bit, like he was trying to banish the pensive thoughts. I'll just say bye. Yeah, bye. It won't be long before you'll see me again. You offered him a small wave goodbye with one of your hands. Cove reached forward and patted your arm reassuringly. He then kept his hand there, lightly holding onto your arm. He nodded. One of his hands grabbed onto the door handle and firmly held it. He was stopping himself from coming along with you. As you walked over to your own front door, you stopped. Turning yourself around, you spotted Cove right where you left him. You laughed quietly yourself. For a small pause, you both stared at each other from across the street. You blew him a kiss. You couldn't have... Yeah, just good night. Night. You shuddered across the way from one another. He moved one of his arms in a big wave so you couldn't miss it. Things couldn't be dragged out any longer. After one more shared smile, you opened the door and went inside, shutting it behind you. A few steps in, you saw your family gathered in the living room. They were still busy unpacking and cleaning. You added things you brought to the pile on the kitchen counter. Mom stood up, rubbing your eyes a bit. She yawned loudly. I'm bushed. How about we finish the rest of the chores tomorrow? Yes, honestly, it's too late for this. Please and thank you. Ma put her hands on her hips and turned to assess the room. Ma was not one who liked to leave a mess about, but she sighed. I suppose I can make an exception to the usual rule. It's been a really long day. Liz grinned contentedly. Lee wasted no time in skipping over to you and hooked you in a side hug. Good night. I hope you have the loveliest of dreams. Hope you have good dreams too. You hugged her back. You pulled her close into a bear hug. Lee giggled until you released her. We're taller than this woman. I hope you'll sleep well too. Oh, I totally will. The moment my head hits the pillow, I'll be out. Here's to us, Marina. Tonight, tomorrow, and forever. You smirked at that. Yeah, family forever. Leland leaned closer to whisper in your ear. You didn't fail to catch the teasing look on her face. Exactly. There's no escape. I got a laugh out of you. You lightly pushed her shoulder. Lee stretched her arms high over her head. She yawned loudly and looked at you with tired eyes. I think that's my cue to head to bed. Bye. I think so too. Have fun sharing the room with Liz. She laughed at that, and Lee shuffled off towards the guest bedroom. Before you had a chance to do anything else, you could feel the top of your head being tapped. You spun around and see Liz smirking. Nighty-night, I'm heading to bed too. It's been a long day, and I have a lot to prepare for tomorrow. Exhaling, you automatically started fixating the back of your hair. When Liz didn't immediately walk away, you smiled softly at her. Everything okay? Her gaze moved away, and you knew she had more to say. You waited patiently for Liz to compose her thoughts. It's been a good summer. It was nice to come back home. You nodded, and Liz gave you a teasing nudge as she went by. Amused, you turned and watched her go. Love you, little kiddo. Good night, Liz. Bye, old sister. Liz turned back to smirk at you, chuckling. You gave her a small wave. Sleep well. You too. When Liz was out of sight, Mom started up the next conversation over her shoulder. Yeah, they all gotta say their piece. Game is wrapping up in case you didn't notice. Aren't you heading up to bed too? I want to finish getting everything now. I want to relax first. She's not gonna. Marina's not. Desperately, you needed some time to decompress and clear your mind. You worried if you went off to bed now, you would end up just staring at the ceiling all night. Okay. Ma came over too, smiling understandingly. She pulled you into a big hug. Maybe we do this one instead, or the beach one. There might be a better picture than this, but I love the moms. These are great ladies. Alright, do what you need to. I love you. When you were done hugging Mom pulled you into another hug. Their actions basically handing you off to one the other had you laughing jovially. So much. You're the best parents. Aww. Ma's eyes sparkled from your compliment. Mom pulled you into another hug. Good night, kiddo. Sleep tight. Good night, sweetie. Night. After that, your moms headed off toward their bedroom down the hall. You were able to turn the other direction from where you heard Mom's voice. And don't let the bedbugs bite. I heard Ma chuckling as you watched them go with a smile. Time had passed, but you weren't entirely sure how much. Sighing, you sat up on the couch. It was a good rest, and all your tired muscles felt quite relaxed. You got up planning to going to bed when something at the window caught your eye. Your feet brought you right in front of the large window spanning the length of the back wall. You stared out the little hills behind your house. As if on cue, your phone came on, alerting you a new notification. It was Cove. Want to hang out on the hill tonight? Something inside you told you this was the right kind of night to take a trip out there. You sent him back a very quick message. Yeah. You went up to the front door and stepping over the threshold, you gave the living room one last glance over your shoulder. You didn't think we were going to get away without having a goodbye from Cove, too. He's the most important character, after all. And you shut the door behind you. Silently you made your way to the poppy hill. With light steps in the dark, you walked across the hills behind your house. Up ahead at the very top, silhouetted beneath the night sky, was a familiar figure already waiting there. Okay, yeah, no, I think this is the final screen because this is the game, right? Smiling, you wondered just how he always got there first. You even had the advantage of living closer. Then again, and maybe it was only in your mind, but somehow, Cove was intrinsically linked with this place. After all these years, it would have been weird to scan this horizon and not find him there, as surreal as the shore without the sea. The distance between you was growing shorter by the second. Hearing the grass and the earth crunch under your feet, Cove turned. A grin spread over his face as he saw you. You took your place standing behind him on the crest of the poppy hill, looking out over the ocean. Same as you'd done it countless times since he first arrived, when you found him on this very same spot. Marina? He'd officially broken the silence, the spell that had held you both in place. You looked at him expectantly. There's something I've always kind of wondered about. He cocked his head, giving you a sidelong glance. What did you think when we met? I was just a kid you'd never seen before, bawling his eyes out on the hill next to your house. He chuckled, his eyes drifting toward the sea beyond, flicking back to you. The way his gaze pulled back made it clear that he was genuinely invested in the topic. Luckily for him, you remembered what initially struck you in that moment, as if it was only happened yesterday. I remember noticing the sad look on your face. Cove replicated that frown for you right now, looking grave at your reply. I think it's what you noticed, what you picked at the very first moment. Yeah, that would have been kind of hard to miss. Sighing a bit, you continued to reminisce about that first meeting. I also remember feeling bad about what was happening. I remember that too. He ran a hand through his hair, and you knew his line of questioning wasn't at an end, even before he spoke again. Do you remember what you thought about me, as a person? Was I annoying or mean or... I liked you immediately. I wanted to be a friend. You seemed interesting, unusual. I just worried about you because you were so upset. I didn't know how to make of you at first. I really don't remember anymore. I mean, this is true. She wanted to be his friend. She wanted to be everyone's friend. She wanted to be everyone's friend when she was a kid. But I like this answer. You seemed interesting. Unusual. Huh. Cove's eyes widened, openly amazed by your response. I don't know what I did to deserve that. It's nice of you. Cove's hand drifted to the scar on his arm, his fingers unconsciously gliding over the mark. I mean, she always wants to be everyone's friend, dude. That was her character then, and it's not as much now, but she's grown up, but, it was much less noticeable than it had been when the neon pink cast had first come off, shrinking gradually over the years as his body healed, then dwarfed in comparison to his growing body. Still, his fingers came back to it without thinking. He gave a half smile, not meeting your eyes. I feel bad now. The thoughts I had were, well, considering what you were thinking, I came across a lot worse of a kid. You didn't like me? It definitely wasn't that. Cole lifted his head up, finally committing to meet your eyes fully once more. I remember you that day. I remember it really well. I don't think I'd ever be able to forget. I can picture the way you looked back then when I first saw you standing right there. I still know the expression on your face when you chose to sit with me in the grass. He chuckled self-derisively, interrupting his own monologue. You scared me at first. I figured I'd be alone out there until I had to face my dad again. And then suddenly another kid appeared out of nowhere. It was startling, but I got over that fast. You were a strange person in a strange place, but in that moment you were exactly what I needed. Somebody I could talk to freely about what was happening and how it made me feel. And you listened to me. You stayed with me. He sighed and then bit his lip as he gave a small smile. I was a little bit spoiled growing up. Yeah, that's an understatement of the year. You let him a little. He teasingly rolled easily over Cove, who laughed in reply. He looked off again, seeing clarity through his thoughts in the expanse of the night sky. What I'm trying to say is, when I was younger, I viewed myself basically as the center of the universe. I didn't even imagine I was like that. I didn't even imagine I wasn't like that. It's interesting to think this. I never get this impression from him, but I guess I could see it, looking back. Things didn't simply happen. That would be weird. According to my little kid brain, it made far more sense that everything in my life had a specific connection to me, somehow, right? He sought affirmation in you, wavy brows raised as he tried to explain the childlike logic. I mean, so this is a thing I believe. I believe that every person's life is like this. That everything happens for a purpose and a reason. That is meant to happen for you and your life so that you can have the best life possible. And whether you don't see that right now, there's something happening, some reason, some purpose to it. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, or just fate or anything else, it's going to be okay. You're right where you need to be, and things are going to be okay. So at the time you felt almost unreal. Tournament. Like you weren't just anyone, some other kid who happened to live in that neighborhood with your own whole life that wasn't connected to Cove Holden. Not to me, you were there so that you could find me when I was lost. Though it turns out you were there for that. You were there for that. You were trying to find me because something had sent you specifically to do that. I just didn't expect it to be my dad. I guess he knew more about what I needed than I thought. He chuckled, shaking his head as he shook off the thought. I kind of expected it all to vanish like a dream when the night was over. I would wake up and everything would be the same again. I'd be back in my bed at home, my real home, with both my parents. The future was something I couldn't picture anymore. I didn't know what the school would be like when I went back, or the table where I'd eat breakfast the next morning, or anything. And I couldn't imagine it. How could I think it was something actually happening? I couldn't grasp my new reality. It was too big for me to hold all at once. So, I never thought I'd see you again. And Cove beamed at you, his eyes shining bright. And I never ever would have been able to guess that 10 years later when I was a grown-up, the two of us would still be together. Well, not together, but you know. I didn't see things ending up like this either. I'm glad this is how things went. No way has it really been that long. Your words couldn't encompass all you. I'm glad this is how things went. The smile faded from his face as his eyebrows drew together. That was the worst day of my life at the time. The day my family broke apart. It was too heavy for me to even think about. I felt that way for I don't know how long. He held a hand over his heart, connecting with the pain he'd felt as a child, and looked at you earnestly. But now everything's better, with me and my dad and my mom, between the two of us. So when I remember that time, it's not the point that my life was over. It's just the day I met you. So great everything worked out. You're just wonderful. Thank you for all this. It's so great that everything worked out. I think so too. Cove sighed contentedly. His voice was as delicate as the petals and the poppies which crowned the hill. Hey, Marina. I'm so grateful you were there even when I wanted to run away. You didn't even know what to say back to that. His heartfelt appreciation left you speechless. He lifted his head up, thoughts lost in space, sparse clouds above. I wonder how late it is. I guess it doesn't really matter. My dad's fine with me being out whenever. You can just use your phone to check the time. You can still text your dad about what you're doing. You can text your dad, I'm going to message my mom. Moms care, but I don't feel like telling them. You wanted to make sure you would message mom about what was going on. Your mom specifically. You can just use your phone to check the time. Sure I could, but I'm probably not gonna. Are you gonna lay in the grass now? Wow, how'd you know? You're predictable. With a chuckle, Cove plopped down on the ground and laid on his back, his usual way of spending time here. He sat in Cove's chest. He also laid in your bag. You took your own spot next to him in the grass, brushing the blades of grass aside with your hand. Why would you sit in his chest? I sat in his chest to wake him up to, mess with him. But why would you ever actually do that? It's a weird thing. The both of you fully settled to relax on the hill. It felt like the beginning of your own nightly outings, but then you realized the sun was peeking out of the horizon. Cole spoke up with disbelieving tone. It really was late. Your neighbor wasn't a stranger to being awake at dawn. However, not unlike this. He was normally an early sleeper or early riser. The unexpected sunrise particularly awed him. The two of you watched silently as the sun began to light the world. Cole then propped himself on the backs of his arms and looked at you with a soft expression on his face. Do you want to go back home? I could carry you if you're too tired. No, I want to stay here. You couldn't resist a yawn, but you were serious. It couldn't be time to go already. Cove chuckled affectionately. Okay, but it's been a long day. We've done a lot of things. Really a lot. It has to end sometime. Yeah, it does. Since when are you okay with things ending? That made him laugh again. It was a fair question. Since you made me feel better about it. And we could still stay if you want to. Cove smiled brightly at you, as warm as the new rays of sun that were tickling your skin. In that moment, you couldn't have appreciated him being there more. You situated yourself to be comfortable. You leaned to situate yourself. Thanks, Space Cadet. See you, Space Cowboy. He gave you a bent smile and gave his own sentiment. The two of you remained together on that familiar poppy hill where you first met until the world began to fade and blur. You were falling asleep. A few more gentle words drifted into your consciousness. Your eyelids dipped, but you felt good. You were safe and relaxed. Everything that had come before this had reassured you of that. You were confident that when you opened them again, things would be okay. You opened your eyes and said the walls of your room you were surrounded by open sky. It was not soft pillows and sheets underneath you, but the bed of earth and grass that you'd taken last night. The day welcomed you with a shining sun, a refreshing breeze, and a chirping sound of birds. You cupped your face with your hands as you sat up, feeling the imprint of the blades of grass leaving lines on your cheeks. Marina? Hearing your name, you lowered your hands and looked around. There was your most influential neighbor, Cove Holden. He made himself very comfortable, laying in his stomach with jewelry and shoes taken off and a flower in his hand. Jeez, he's way too, ridiculous. Good morning. Stupid sexy Cove. It's not really the morning anymore. Cove laughed, tickled with the overall situation and simply being able to spend time like this. Told you I'd see you tomorrow. God, that shit-eating grin, too. He's just fantastic, isn't he? It looks so different during the day, though. It's this cut-in, right? It's the way it is. Everything's flatter. It's the exact same day, Cove. Pretty safe bet we'll see each other nearly every day. No. I'm glad it's the exact same day, Cove. We were up until dawn. It doesn't make it a new day just now just because we went to sleep later than normal. Then we disagree, because to me it's not really the next day until I've been in bed and woken up. But fine. I'll just have to make sure I see you tomorrow again. Probably the day after that too. That way there's no argument. Cove turned his head up to the sky, expressing content. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. We'll have to come up with something to do to make the most of it. They trailed off, blinking slowly in the sunlight. I ought to be 18. And to sleep outside on a hill for a few hours and feel completely rested and ready to tackle the day. I would be wrecked for the rest of the day, personally. Someday, when we're even older than we are now, I wonder what we'll end up remembering this moment for. What will we feel when we look back at it? Will it be the same as what we're feeling right now? I can't see what the future is going to look like again, but I think that's alright. You're really way too sentimental. Please haven't I forgotten all about this. I think it'll mark another new start for me. Cove's eyebrows lifted as he turned to look at you. That's a good one. I want to think about it like that too. He eyed the hill sprawling out before you and down below where the wild hill of nature gave way to civilization. Your home and Cove's lay down at the bottom, neatly filed among the other houses in the neighborhood. Hey, Marina, I bet I can beat you in getting back to the road. You laughed, amused by the wager that reminded you of so many moments in your youth. As much as I like it here, it's okay if we leave now. We can always come back to see the poppies and the fireflies again, right? Cove met your eyes, waiting for what you were going to say in response. Right, I'd like that. You better do that. You're not getting out of it. Yeah, we better do that. You're not getting out of it. We'll always be together in one way or the other. I might be able to manage that. Yeah, we better do that. You're not getting out of it. Your comment quirked a wry smile from Cove. His voice was lifted with mirth. You're really irreplaceable, huh? Cove, and for all you foot fetishists out there, they had to add his foot in this picture. Cove beamed at you. His expression was so unlike the one he'd worn when you first found him here, swaddled in sadness and uncertainty. You couldn't help but glimpse that boy once more underneath his bright expression and matured features. He offered you a hand. You accepted it, your palm fitting around his. Cove lifted himself up, pulling you along too. His palm isn't abnormally, freakishly large compared to ours now. Our parents probably aren't going to come running after us this time. We've got to make our own call. And I say that we can't hide away forever. Poppy Hill is just one part of things. There's more out there for us than this time and place alone. Let's enjoy it. You couldn't say whether you were the one that broke into a run or if Cove had been the one to start it or if your feet had simultaneously made that choice for you both. The end result was the same, with the two of you dashing down the hill like children, but with the nostalgic revelry that could only come as an adult. As the wind whipped past you, you knew that family and friends were waiting at the end of your sprint. There were more memories to make after all. Life takes another step forward. And there it is. We did it. I didn't expect to reach the end in this video, but we did, and I'm going to talk for a little while about all the characters and all the things. So I want to thank Sorrow Echo, my friend, for... I forgot this was a thing. Jeremy King. All their names, all this stuff. It tells it. There's spoiler alerts for the future here, by the way. Scott Adam. I don't know who that is. Huh. Fat Bard. Huh. Well, I want to talk about this a bit, though. It's just hard to talk over the music. I think it's nice that they did this, but it would have been. I think this game would have been better served for just having some instrumental music for this part, because this is a lot. Maybe they'll learn from that mistake with the second game. So, as I said, I want to thank my friend Sorrow for introducing me to this game, for getting me into it, for making me want to play it with her playthrough. Because this game has come to mean a lot to me. It guided me through a hard summer in my life. And these characters do feel like family after a while, after you talk to them and after you get to know them. They feel pretty special. Stop that. We get it. It's a good song. You wrote this cool song. I want to talk. Darn it. Huh. Thank you so much for a play of my game. Oh yeah, epilogues. Anyway, thank you for coming along with me. Is this ocean noise gonna be super loud? Yeah, so, yeah, we're not worried about this. It is interesting, though. I have a plan for the future. Wow, this is... Yeah, but I want to talk for a little bit more. Let's sit on our this screen so you can see all the places I saved the game. I want to talk for a little bit more about this game just because it has meant a lot to me. I'm not really into the... I created the character of Marina Foster as kind of a somewhat representation of myself, but mostly as a character. Just mostly so I could make different choices than my friend had made and see different scenes. I wanted a character who was more lively and energetic and athletic and more into some of the things Cove's into, like the ocean and who could bond with her sister and all that. And kind of, I felt like that would get us some of the things in the game that were interesting, and I had a lot of fun with that. I had a good time with exploring that and exploring some of the differences. This is a really cool game for anyone who is looking for a place, needing a place to come back to. Sunset Bird is a lovely home. It is a place that you can be, that you can live with characters that love you and care about you and will just be there for you and reassure you. The moms are such good moms. I grew up in a loving and supportive family, so I don't really need that, but I can see how people would. And they have such distinct personalities. I love the character of Cliff Holden. He is so good. Both Cliff and Kyra are such good characters. They are probably my favorite characters in the game. Cliff is probably my favorite character in this game. And that's saying a lot, considering I don't usually like male characters and things. I complain a lot about them trying to force romance and people being flirty and forward and stuff. But the growth that you see in this man from throughout the game as a father and as a neighbor and just a friend is really incredible. And Kyra too. Kyra's fun, and I learned the word any whoosies, which I have now added firmly into my vocabulary. Any whoosies. Some of the things in this I'll never forget. Thanks. I will never stop with that. Derek's back! Yeah. I even enjoyed them. I enjoyed Derek's brothers, Nico and Jorge. I enjoyed the Suarez family. I even ended up liking Baxter Ward at the end. I didn't like... The Baxter DLC moments are annoying. He is annoying. And actually, I'm surprised... I'm guessing I didn't get the scene because I didn't do Baxter's DLC moments. But if you do all his DLC moments, there's a scene where Baxter, instead of having that nice little farewell with him at the end, he comes up to you and he's like, well, this is it. We'll never see each other again. Don't bother trying to befriend me. I've just been a tourist here, and I don't intend to keep any of the connections that I made this summer. And he just basically shuts you out and is like, yeah, I have to move on and go back to my life. And none of this meant anything to me. It's over, goodbye. Whereas the ending I got with him was a little bit more friendly and like, yeah, well, thanks for being here. It was great to see you, nice to meet you. And like, there's hope for the future in that relationship. And it's so interesting. We didn't end on such a bittersweet note with Baxter. And like I said, Derek. Derek is an interesting character. He's such a good kid. They're all good romance characters, but Cove truly is someone who makes you feel safe and cared for and loved every step of the way. Especially if you're doing the romance stuff, but even in this, just being neighbors, it got a little too flirty for me at times. But it was good, and this game also helped me talk to you about a lot of things in my life that I've been dealing with and going through, and just things in my past, that good memories and bad. It brings up a lot of that. The creators of this, as I've mentioned a lot throughout this, have another game on the way. There's a demo out right now for Our Life 2, Now and Forever. And I am so excited to play that game. I'm not going to spoil much of it for myself. I want to start fresh and just see it all. And it's set in the autumn time, and it's got characters I already love in Tamarack and Chew. And I want to be part of that. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be exciting. So, thank you for coming along with me. I know this has been a departure from the usual type of game I play. It's not a first-person shooter or a strategy game or something, like a little more, or an RPG. Something I usually get into. We're getting into the spooky season now, so there'll be more Night in the Woods on the way, more Witching Hour weekends, And of course, I'm going to get delve into Itch and maybe some other spooky games for you soon. So as the summer wraps up, look forward to autumn coming and all the fun we can have together. I will see you next time.